In the quiet California town of Silver Lakes, a tragic tale of love, betrayal, and murder unfolded in 2014. Sabrina Limon, a devoted mother and seemingly perfect wife, was at the center of a shocking crime that left her husband, Robert Limon, dead. What appeared to be a random act of violence turned out to be a meticulously planned murder, fueled by a forbidden affair. This is the story of Sabrina Limon and how her affair with Jonathan Hearn led to the unthinkable. Sabrina and Robert Limon were high school sweethearts. They married young and built a life together, filled with love and adventure. Robert worked as a railroad technician for BNSF Railway, a job that provided a comfortable lifestyle for the family. The couple had 2 children and were well-liked in their community. To their friends, Sabrina and Robert seemed like the epitome of a happy, thriving couple. But behind closed doors, their marriage was far from perfect. The couple had an open marriage, allowing each other to pursue extramarital relationships. While this arrangement may have seemed consensual, it created cracks in their relationship that would ultimately prove fatal. Sabrina and Robert's open marriage was not a simple arrangement. They were deeply involved in the swinger lifestyle and were particularly close to another couple with whom they frequently exchanged partners. This dynamic added a new layer of complexity to their relationship. Friends and acquaintances of the Limons described their interactions with the other couple as unusually intense, with Sabrina and Robert often prioritizing these social encounters over their own private time together. The swinger lifestyle seemed to fulfill certain desires for both Sabrina and Robert, but it also created emotional entanglements that neither fully acknowledged. While Robert appeared to participate willingly, there were signs that he harbored unspoken doubts about the arrangement. Close friends later revealed that Robert occasionally expressed discomfort with how intertwined their lives had become with the other couple. For Sabrina, the swinger lifestyle offered excitement and validation. However, it also blurred boundaries and created opportunities for deeper emotional connections outside her marriage. Her involvement in this lifestyle, combined with her affair with Jonathan Hearn, painted a picture of a woman seeking fulfillment in all the wrong places. This dynamic ultimately contributed to the unraveling of her marriage and the tragic events that followed. In 2012, Sabrina met Jonathan Hearn, a firefighter, at a church event. Jonathan, 10 years younger than Sabrina, was immediately drawn to her charm and beauty. Despite their age difference, the two began an intense affair. Their relationship was passionate and emotional, with Jonathan showering Sabrina with attention and affection that she felt was missing in her marriage. Jonathan's personality sharply contrasted with Robert's. While Robert was outgoing and loved entertaining, Jonathan was introspective and deeply religious. He often wrote Sabrina heartfelt letters, expressing his love and devotion. Sabrina, in turn, found solace in Jonathan's attention, which made her feel valued and desired in ways she hadn't experienced in years. Jonathan's upbringing played a significant role in shaping his worldview. Raised in a conservative Christian household, he was taught the importance of faith, morality, and commitment. However, meeting Sabrina challenged these principles. Despite his initial hesitation, Jonathan convinced himself that their relationship was destined. His infatuation with Sabrina became all-consuming, driving him to justify actions he would have once considered unthinkable. Their affair was a secret at first, conducted through discreet meetings and late-night phone calls. Jonathan's religious background added a layer of complexity. He often struggled with guilt over their relationship, but convinced himself that their love was pure and justified. This internal conflict made him even more committed to Sabrina, as he viewed their relationship as something sacred. As their affair deepened, Jonathan's feelings for Sabrina grew obsessive. He began to resent Robert, believing that he was the only obstacle preventing them from being together. Sabrina, too, saw Jonathan as an escape from her marriage and a chance to start a new life. The two often fantasized about a future together, away from the constraints of their current lives. Sabrina would later describe their connection as intoxicating, blinding her to the moral lines they were crossing. By 2014, Sabrina and Jonathan had decided that Robert needed to be eliminated. The lovers concocted a plan to murder him and make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Jonathan, who had a background in firearms, took on the responsibility of carrying out the crime. Their discussions about the murder were chillingly detailed. Text messages between the two revealed their careful planning and emotional justifications. Sabrina encouraged Jonathan, expressing her belief that their love justified their actions. In one message, she wrote, "You are my everything. This is the only way we can truly be free." Jonathan meticulously planned the murder, researching the layout of the railroad facility where Robert worked and timing his visit to avoid detection. He also practiced his alibi, ensuring he could account for his whereabouts before and after the crime. Sabrina, for her part, reassured him, reminding him of their future together and the freedom they would gain once Robert was out of the picture. On August 17, 2014, Robert was working at a remote railroad facility in Tehachapi, California. Jonathan drove to the site armed with a gun. He entered the facility, confronted Robert, and shot him multiple times. The scene was staged to resemble a random robbery, with items from Robert's wallet scattered around. Jonathan then fled the scene, leaving behind a staged but sloppy crime. Initially, law enforcement believed Robert's death was a tragic, senseless act of violence. However, inconsistencies in the crime scene and witness statements soon raised suspicions. Detectives discovered that Robert's wallet and personal items had not been stolen, a detail that contradicted the robbery narrative. Robert's friends and co-workers described him as a devoted family man who had no known enemies. This made the random robbery theory less plausible. Detectives began looking into Robert's personal life, uncovering details about the Limons' open marriage and Sabrina's extramarital relationships. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a series of incriminating text messages between Sabrina and Jonathan. The messages revealed their affair and their discussions about removing Robert from their lives. One message from Jonathan chillingly stated, "The thought of you being free is the most beautiful thing." Detectives also discovered surveillance footage showing Jonathan's vehicle near the crime scene on the day of the murder. Witnesses reported seeing a man matching Jonathan's description in the area, further corroborating the evidence. Investigators interviewed Jonathan, whose initial calm demeanor began to crack under scrutiny. His conflicting statements eventually led police to dig deeper into his connection with Sabrina. Forensic evidence at the crime scene also pointed to foul play. Ballistics analysis confirmed that the weapon used was consistent with firearms owned by Jonathan. Investigators pieced together a timeline using cell phone records, surveillance footage, and eyewitness accounts, creating a damning case against the pair. The evidence trail expanded further when police uncovered detailed journals written by Jonathan in which he expressed his devotion to Sabrina and detailed his feelings about their relationship. These writings painted a vivid picture of Jonathan's mental state and his willingness to go to any lengths to protect and secure his future with Sabrina. Technology played a pivotal role in unraveling the truth behind Robert's murder. Investigators used text messages, call logs, and social media interactions to trace the progression of Sabrina and Jonathan's relationship. The meticulous records from cell phone towers placed Jonathan near the crime scene on the day of the murder, directly contradicting his initial alibi. The text messages between the lovers revealed not just their romantic entanglement, but also their careful planning. Prosecutors later described the messages as the smoking gun of the case. Jonathan's chilling words and Sabrina's encouragement provided irrefutable evidence of their conspiracy. Surveillance footage from the area further corroborated their guilt, showing Jonathan's vehicle entering and exiting the vicinity of the crime scene. This visual evidence solidified the timeline investigators had built, leaving little room for doubt. On November 19, 2014, Sabrina Limon and Jonathan Hearn were arrested for Robert's murder. Both denied any involvement, but the evidence against them was overwhelming. In addition to the text messages, police found surveillance footage of Jonathan's vehicle near the crime scene on the day of the murder. Jonathan quickly folded under pressure and struck a deal with prosecutors. He agreed to testify against Sabrina in exchange for a reduced sentence. During his testimony, Jonathan described how he and Sabrina had planned the murder and how she had encouraged him to go through with it. Jonathan's confession included chilling details about the moments leading up to the murder. He described parking his car a short distance from the facility, walking to the site, and confronting Robert. Jonathan claimed that he hesitated briefly, but thoughts of Sabrina and their future together pushed him to pull the trigger. Sabrina Limon's trial began in 2017. Prosecutors painted her as a manipulative woman who used Jonathan's love for her to orchestrate her husband's murder. They argued that she was motivated by greed, pointing to the $300,000 life insurance policy on Robert's life as evidence. Jonathan's testimony was the cornerstone of the prosecution's case. He detailed their affair, their plans to murder Robert, and Sabrina's role in encouraging the crime. The prosecution also presented the text messages and surveillance footage as further proof of their guilt. Sabrina's defense team attempted to portray her as a victim of Jonathan's obsession. They argued that Jonathan had acted alone and that Sabrina had no knowledge of his plans. However, the evidence was too compelling to ignore. The trial captivated the community, with courtroom spectators and media outlets closely following every detail. Sabrina's calm demeanor during the proceedings drew criticism, with many questioning whether she felt any remorse. Her defense team highlighted her role as a mother, emphasizing her love for her children and arguing that she would never have jeopardized their well-being by plotting such a crime. Witness testimonies during the trial were particularly impactful. Close friends of the Limons spoke about the visible cracks in their marriage, while forensic experts detailed how the crime scene had been staged. These accounts painted a vivid picture of a calculated plan to end Robert's life. The trial also exposed the dark side of Sabrina and Jonathan's relationship, with prosecutors emphasizing how their obsessive and selfish desires had led to a cold-blooded murder. Emotional appeals from Robert's family during the sentencing phase left the courtroom in tears, as they described the devastating void his death had created in their lives. The Sabrina Limon case quickly became a media sensation, with reporters covering every twist and turn of the investigation and trial. Public opinion was sharply divided. Some viewed Sabrina as a cold-hearted manipulator, while others questioned whether Jonathan's testimony was entirely truthful or influenced by his plea deal. News outlets delved into the salacious details of the couple's open marriage and Sabrina's affair, fueling widespread fascination. True crime enthusiasts dissected every aspect of the case online, creating forums to debate Sabrina's guilt and speculate on her motives. On September 15, 2017, Sabrina Limon was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and being an accessory to murder. She was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Jonathan Hearn, who had cooperated with authorities, received a reduced sentence of 25 years. The judge's remarks during sentencing highlighted the calculated nature of the crime and the devastating impact on the Limon family. He described the murder as a cowardly act of betrayal that destroyed the lives of everyone involved. Community members expressed mixed reactions, with some feeling justice was served and others questioning whether Sabrina's punishment fit her role in the crime. The Sabrina Limon case remains one of the most shocking passion crimes in recent history. It's a chilling reminder of how love, when twisted by obsession and greed, can lead to devastating consequences. For the Limon children, the loss of both parents, one to murder and the other to incarceration, is a tragedy they will carry for the rest of their lives. In the years following the trial, the Limon children were placed in the care of family members. Community members rallied around them, offering support and financial assistance. However, the emotional scars left by the crime and its aftermath are a burden they continue to bear. Sabrina's actions left a void that no amount of support could ever fully heal. Sabrina's time in prison has been marked by reflection, according to those who have written to her. Some reports suggest she has attempted to justify her actions, while others claim she has expressed remorse. However, the community's sentiment toward her remains overwhelmingly negative, viewing her as a manipulative figure who prioritized her desires over her family's well-being. For Jonathan, his reduced sentence has come with its own challenges. Reports from within the correctional system reveal that he has struggled with guilt and isolation, often avoiding interactions with other inmates. His plea deal, while sparing him a life sentence, has not absolved him of the burden of taking a man's life for the sake of an affair. The murder of Robert Limon was a calculated and cold-blooded act that destroyed a family and shocked a community. Sabrina and Jonathan's affair, fueled by passion and selfishness, led them down a dark and irreversible path. As we reflect on this case, we're reminded of the dangerous power of desire and the devastating cost of betrayal. As you ponder this story, consider the ripple effects of actions driven by greed and obsession. What seemed like a solution for two lovers became a nightmare for everyone involved. It's a sobering lesson in how quickly love can turn into tragedy when morality is cast aside. The Sabrina Limon case will forever stand as a stark warning of how destructive human emotions can become when unchecked. What do you think about this case? Do you believe Sabrina and Jonathan conspired together equally, or was Jonathan entirely manipulated by Sabrina? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out the poll on our community page, where you can share your perspective on this case. If you enjoyed this story, you might also like the Watts case, which is now featured on our channel. Don't miss it.